Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hello there. Welcome to the show. I'm Don. That's Tom. We talk about money. We talk about investing. We talk about how you save it, how you can spend it better, how you can avoid being ripped off. We talk about the people who help you with money, the people who claim to help you with money and really don't, the people who claim to help you with money and actually hurt you more than they help you. And boy, there are way too many of those. They drive us a little crazy. And we're here for you to chat with us at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Lines are open for you right this very minute. And we talk about a little of everything. We even talk about taxes sometimes.
Please.
Even though we're not tax experts, we do know that one thing we do know is that tax law is always changing.
Yeah, and I think the reason that we even bring this up as a topic is people have a tendency to believe that they should change what they're doing with their money based on what tax law might be, right?
Well, and with good reason, right? I mean, there's some concerns. I mean, they're talking about maybe bringing the long-term capital gains rate for people in high incomes up to like almost 44%.
Yeah, apparently that is now off the table. I mean, this stuff all changes minute by minute, and who knows really what's going on in Washington. But the Wall Street Journal says today that that's probably gone, but they're probably looking at like 25% plus the 3.8 surcharge. So you'd still be looking at 28, right?
Right, almost 30.
And they may raise the personal rate all the way back up to 39.6. And they may raise the corporate tax rate to 26.5, right?
Right. You see?
Yeah, I mean, all these things. So
that people worry when they hear stuff like that in the news.
Well, they try to figure out how to game it. In other words, okay, what am I going to do this year with that coming? First of all, and try to make clear, we don't know. They don't know. I mean, they being Congress, day to day, you could read ad nauseum about what might or might not happen, both in terms of spending and in terms of taxation. They don't know.
So it's a lot like what you're saying is it's kind of it's a lot like what we went through recently with the Washington CARES thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Where everybody was looking for a way to game the system.
A cheap one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which apparently the CARES website went down. Yesterday was the first day to apply for the exemption. Mm-hmm. And the website went
because everybody
gone.
Wanted to apply for the exemption.
Trying to figure out how not to pay it. But yeah, so people were, I think in that case, really because it became political in some ways as well, they truly were doing something that we ask people not to do, and that is let the tax tail wag the dog. In other words, you're making a plan based on the tail, not on the body here. And that's, I think, happened with that long-term care proposal. I think it's happening today, certainly with the potential changes in tax law. And the taxes are the taxes. Your asset allocation, your plan, your portfolio, your distribution of assets, et cetera, should be based on all the things we always talk about in the show, how much money you're trying to make, how much you're willing to risk the volatility, and how soon you need the money. The rest of it, frankly, is just unknown. We do not know what the new year will bring.
We hear this. In fact, I think, wow, that is loud. Do you got a big, giant woodpecker out there?
Yeah, it's about as tall as me, if you can imagine.
I thought those were extinct. Those giant woodpeckers. It distracted me, so I forgot. We run into it all the time on the show where people call and go, I am selling an investment property. How do I avoid paying capital gains? It's as if the avoidance of capital gains is more important than the capital gain that you made. What is it about us that we go, I just made a lot of money and I want to pay taxes on that.
Yeah. And so they do, which is another one that's apparently on the table, the 1031 exchange. That may come off. Roth conversions may end. The backdoor Roth IRA may end. All these things nobody knows. But what we do know is that you should, as you say many times, Don, you'd be correct to say it. You got to have a plan. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a plan and you come into money, then what do I do with that money? Well, what's your plan say you should do with it? That's the important thing, not trying to game all of this depending on what may or may not happen. Yeah. I guess lunch is over and now he's got the biggest leaf blower. That would be the first thing, I guess, after Bitcoin I would outlaw as president would be.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Bitcoin outlawing, it turns out that, was it the Treasury Secretary? No, I don't remember who it was, or SEC,
I think,
said that they weren't considering banning cryptocurrency, but it doesn't mean it's not still a stupid idea, like big, giant, gas-powered leaf blowers. They're not banned, but they're stupid ideas. Why do you need a giant gas-powered leaf blower anyway? They cost a lot of money. Save some money.
Tom
Money
and Don
talk.
are talking real money.
Set your course for a great future with a free copy of our 60-page Better Retirement Guidebook at vestory.com, vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hi, welcome to the airplane hangar. They're revving up the engine of the light plane out front, getting ready for the escape. Listen to that thing. That is really loud. We can hear it.
Yes, it is.
And you have a mic that is very particular about knocking out background noise. That's a good mic.
You want me to run out on the street, do an interview, say, why do you have a blower size of...
Actually, I have a really good... How big's the blower?
It's like 5 feet. I kid you not.
Wait, this isn't a backpack blower? This is like
I think maybe it is. I haven't looked that closely.
Well, here's an idea, Tom.
Yeah.
You know, there's a guy in the financial industry who has a reputation that is incredible, and you have one too. You do.
Oh, I know where we're headed.
You have a great one. I would say, Tom, if you really want to take care of this neighbor, you go out there and you Bill Gross him. You just go Bill Gross this guy.
Okay, you got to explain that now because people don't. A few that even remember Bill Gross.
Remember Bill Gross ran the PIMCO Total Return Fund, and he was the guy.
He had a moniker. What was his moniker?
I'm a big-headed idiot.
No,
I do.
Bond King. Bond King. That was his,
the god of bonds.
Yes,
exactly. The god of bondage.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bill
that may have been a better one. Yeah.
Bill was always arguing, that I know more than the Federal Reserve, and whatever the Federal Reserve is doing is wrong because I said it's wrong because I'm the god.
The Bond King.
He got fired by his company and all this stuff. Well, apparently Bill Gross hates his neighbor. Hates his neighbor.
I think we can safely say that, yes.
Yes. So for ages, he has gigantic, because he's a billionaire, so he has billionaire big speakers, big billionaire speakers.
I didn't know where you were going on that. Yeah,
big billionaire speakers sitting out in his yard.
Yeah.
And he plays obnoxious music all the time, blasting at his neighbor's house. And here's the song. Here is a tale of our castaways. They're here for a long, long time.
There's Gilligan, the skipper too, Marianne.
Exactly.
And
so anyway, he was told by a judge to
the professor
stop it. I'm telling you to stop it now, unless you're going to shout it out the window at your neighbor. If you will open the window. And
I want you to open the window and yell, "You're mad as hell," and I'm not going to take it anymore.
I want you to sing the Gilligan's Island song out the window, and then okay. But Bill got an injunction against him. And
he's in contempt of court now.
Yeah, he did
because he won't turn down the music
because he's a billionaire,
and he calls it the worst decision ever in the history of California courts.
He's special. He's special. Bill, we know he's special.
Wow. Yes, he is. But so how did we end up here?
Because your neighbor is blowing leaves during our show.
I know. I wish I could say something in defense, but
it's time to move the studio down to the man cave.
Yes, I could do that. Probably do it right now during the show.
We should probably just go to the man cave. Go to the man cave.
You go. You got no blowhards in your background.
I don't have a man cave. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. We, for some strange reason, and it's probably people's aversion to the noise of a lawnmower or leaf blower, we have no calls, so give us a call at 855-935-TALK, and we'll just take one of the questions that somebody sent in to us, Tom, at TalkingRealMoney.com, okay?
Yeah, please.
Hi, guys. Love your show. I haven't come across drawdown strategies in any of your podcasts. I'm 64, widowed, no kids, retired. I have a $70,000 pension I can live on, but I also have significant savings. $1.4 million in 401k, $800 in a lawn blower, leaf blower.
Yeah.
$450,000 in a Roth IRA.
Yep.
$340,000 in another leaf blower. Rollover IRA. And $3.1 million in brokerage accounts. You don't need to worry about drawdown strategy.
Okay, your drawdown strategy is spend more money.
And wait, he's got more. I've been forecasting my annual income out for the next 25 years, and it looks like once I take Social Security and my RMD kicks in, my income will go way up. Ridiculously way up. Any advice on a drawdown strategy to minimize RMDs and reduce the overall tax burden? Thanks.
Okay, well, one thing we didn't, has he already triggered the pension?
Doesn't sound like it because he says he has a pension he can live on. So he's talking future tense. Yeah, so no.
Yeah, so, this is a perfect time for Roth conversions then. Moving money from pre-tax, the 401k, the IRA.
Because he has significant savings. He has $3.1 million in other brokerage accounts.
Well, that you don't have to spend.
No, but for taxes.
No. Okay, but I'm just saying if the goal is to try to not have to pay a ton in taxes after required minimum distributions kick in at age 72, which, by the way, that's another thing under discussion in Congress, maybe pushing those out to 75. We'll see. But in the current tax law, my suggestion would be, especially if the pension is not kicked in, to figure out what kind of conversions he could do from money that has not been taxed to a Roth IRA that will never be taxed, right?
And
so
do
you're
that
pay the tax
gradually over the years
time.
Until he gets to 72.
Well, no, do that. Well, but the pension, again, once you trigger that pension, then your income's going to go way up.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, it
so
sounds
there's
like
a bit of work to be done.
It sounds like he's planning on delaying Social Security. That's at least what it sounds like. Because he says,
that's
like
a no-brainer.
Once I take that, so so over the next few years, he probably ought to start primarily with that 401k, where there's that 1.4 million. Start converting
moving
that
over
to Roth IRAs. I'm trying to see if there's anything else.
Well, actually, the best strategy then would be to take the 1.4, move it to an IRA, then
transfer that into a Roth,
converting to a Roth. Yeah, not all
slowly, not all at once.
Yep.
Do some tax planning. That seems like a reasonable way.
Yeah, I don't know. The money, the post-tax money you have in brokerage, you never have to spend that, so there's no requirement there.
Is that blower so powerful that it could launch him into orbit?
See, the thing is, he blows the same part of the yard like 9 times. Seriously. Anyway.
How many leaves do you have there?
I have way more way bigger pile than he has. A very few. I don't know. And let's not.
Aren't your trees all evergreens?
No, they're not.
Oh.
I have what
right.
they believe they refer to as deciduous trees.
I would eliminate the deciduouses. Just
or the neighbor.
Or the neighbor.
Yeah.
I think Gilligan's Island. Oh. Silence fell over the face of the earth. For a moment, and then it went back up again. You're right. These should be banned.
My friend, the realtor, said there's another way to make the leaf blower go away.
What do you do?
List your home for 1% full service.
Oh, good. There you go.
So I just have to move. That's not a problem. I can probably sell it by 5 o'clock. And
I got to tell you,
thank you.
We have a horrible problem with leaf blowers here in Florida because everybody, they mow their lawns. You mow your lawn like every other day here because the grass grows like crazy, and they're always blowing the stuff. The grass clippings.
Hate them, really do.
Down the
horrible
sewers
noise
and things. They really ought to be banned. I'm going to move somewhere very quiet. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. Give us a call. We've got lines open for you right now. We'll talk about anything that relates to money, trying to help you make more of it.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
A second opinion could save your life either physically or fiscally. Let one of our Vestory advisors help you save your future at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
I'd say, Tom, go out after the show and mow your lawn. But Tom has a lawnmower that goes like this.
It doesn't make any noise.
He's got a little electric one.
I know.
Do you have blower?
I'm not one of those.
Do you have blower envy?
Taylor types.
Do you have blower envy?
And I rake my own leaves with my own arms.
Wow.
Yeah, try that one on. Wow, okay.
I pay people to do it. 855-935-TALK. Give us a call. We really do want to talk about money and not leaf blowers.
Please.
So let's go talk to Jay. Jay, you're up. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
I usually just sweep my driveway. I don't have a blower.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Good
well
American.
Done.
My question isn't so much about money, but it's about a title to a house. I've heard an advertiser talk about how the title of your house can be stolen. Have you ever heard of something like that?
There was just a piece in the Journal a couple of days ago about this, someone trying to steal it back. I think it was back in Massachusetts or something. It's an odd tale. I'm going to have to defer to Don on this because I really don't know how they go about it.
There is such a thing, but it's pretty darned rare. It's what happens is that someone will go down to the county and file a fraudulent deed and then take out a new mortgage. And so it is a scam. It's not a scam that happens a lot. It's like identity theft. But you see, that's why you have title insurance. It protects you, and I just don't see it happening. I think there are a lot of people now trying to make money off of that, of course, because there's now this.
Maybe you could help me do it. I'll go do it to my neighbor.
Title lock insurance, but it is It is not the same serious threat that these ads say it is. Would I go out and buy it? No. Do I think it's necessary? No. Do I think identity theft is necessary? Identity theft insurance? No. I don't think any of those things are necessary if you are paying attention to what's going on in your life. If you pay attention to that you're making your mortgage payments and your bank hasn't suddenly kicked them back at you because you no longer own the property, I just don't see why you need it. But there are people who will try to make money off of pretty much everything, so I would ignore them. Thanks for the call, Jay. We appreciate it. 855-935-TALK's our number. Cindy, you're up next. Welcome to the show.
Hi. I have a question. My husband and I kind of disagreeing. He does most of our financial and investing portfolio. I'm going to be 65 in a couple months, and so is he. He's still working, and he's still planning on working. I am not working currently and don't plan on working. We have about $1.3 million in our portfolio. Most of it is invested with Vanguard in IRAs, and some is just invested in mutual funds that are not IRAs. And we do not own a home. We currently lease. So he's saying we don't need the money. We should just wait as long as possible to take Social Security. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, this is one of those cases where we're going to have to say, honey, you're right.
Okay.
Because here's the deal. At 65, if you were to file today, you would not get your full benefit. Mm-hmm. And all the time you wait beyond your full retirement age, which probably 66 something, 66 years and whatever month. Yeah. you're going to get an 8% a year raise plus some small amount of inflation. So I think he's correct, especially if you have a portfolio that can continue to pay you, right, to cover the expenses. So
the differences can
case,
be huge, Cindy, huge. Let me just give you an example. I just went and looked yesterday at mine. I am 65 in a few months. If I took it right now at 65 in a few months, I would get a little over $2,000, $2,300, I think it was. If I wait until I'm 70, I get $3,500. It's hugely different. So much more money.
And it's hard to make that much guaranteed on your portfolio every year is another way to look at it.
And I also figure it's great encouragement for me to live longer because I want this to pay off. So I'm not going to die young if I can help it. Of course, I don't get a say in it most of the time. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. Give us a call, 855-935-8255. We're talking real money.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom and I created Vestory to help everyone become a better investor, even those who will never be clients. Let one of our advisors help you start your financial plan or solve a money problem free with no obligation or high-pressure sales pitch at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Welcome back to the laughing times of the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Here on Talking Real Money. Yep, we got Ron Hatfield across the street and Tommy McCoy on this side. They're both going at it. They really are. They got the leaf blowers out and they're making a big time of it. And one of these days we're going to have to call out the feds to settle the feud. But for now, we're talking real money at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255.
Was that, I think it was, or we could just pull up Helen Reddy and I could play that. Wasn't that hers? Leave Me Alone? Leave Me Alone? No?
Yeah, no, okay. I think the Gilligan's Island thing
There's an outdated
where we go.
joke. That's more outdated. That was like the 60s. At least Helen Reddy's song was the 70s. For 1970s.
I got Hatfield and McCoy music.
Yeah, that was good. Good work. You're quick.
Hey,
You're quick.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our little get-together. We call it a radio show. Some people later call it a podcast. We think it's a little bit of both. We give you the best of both worlds. And we have about a half an hour left, a little less than a half an hour. And we've got these phone lines that are just like sitting there waiting for you. We've had so many people drop off today. It's very unusual.
I think you could safely say that they were there, but then they blew it.
Except, they blew it with gas, not electricity. Yeah. 855-935-8255 is our phone number, 855-935-8255. And we talk a lot about Social Security because it is the primary source of income in retirement for a lot of Americans. Probably too many, but a lot.
It for 2/3, I think it makes up like 80% of their income. It's some huge number. So filing properly at the right time, especially if you're in a relationship, if you're married, because if you don't want to mess this up, and it's a one-shot deal, right? I mean, you can go back, I think it's 6 months and fix something, but generally you file and that is it once you've done that. So, I mean, back to Cindy's question. It's not a disaster to file at 65, as big a disaster as it would be at 62, because remember, at 62, you're filing, 8 years before, and you could wait, especially in this case, when you have the money to supply your income.
Yeah, but that's why I used my example, which was a 65 to 70 example, just that 5 year, little less than 5 years. The difference is over $1,000 a month. Over $1,000 a month.
But you got to live then 10 years to make it work.
I got to live 10 years to make it work.
Yep.
So I'm counting on my wife to keep me alive because she gets both her benefit and mine. And if she kills me off early, then she only gets mine.
Which would be the larger of the two.
The larger of the two. That's correct. She can't get both. So that's another thing.
No.
You can't have both.
Which is another thing people forget. Another reason that the larger earner generally should wait
the longest.
Yes. Because The survivor would, as Don points out correctly, would either have their own benefit or their spouse's benefit. So yeah, there's a lot of tricks to all this, but the big picture is the husband in this case, and perhaps only in this case, is exactly right. Now they're using Vanguard, so that's good. So he's doing something else right.
Well, no, they're doing a lot of things right. We also, in addition to taking your questions at 855-935-TALK, we like to take them at talkingrealmoney.com. Couple of ways that you can do it there, though. There are two ways. You can type your question, which many of you do, or you can speak your question at talkingrealmoney.com. So go either way. But here's another one that was typed up for us, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And this one says, I am looking to set up a 529 for a good friend and his wife's children. They are 5 years old and younger. What is the best method of setting it up? Do I need the children's social security numbers? Do I have to set it up in the parent's name? Can I set it up in my name and transfer it? Finally, where would be the best company/bank to set it up with? Thank you for the continued youthful advice.
Yeah, so you will be the owner of the 529.
Right.
Now, you could make your friend the owner, I guess. I don't know if I recommend that, because in this case, you have control.
Well, but wouldn't it also be if you made the friend the owner? Wouldn't that be a gift to the friend who ends up then establishing? I mean, technically, couldn't it be a
tricky.
gift? Yeah.
So in this, you would be the owner, and then the children would be the beneficiaries. And yes, I do believe you need Social Security numbers for them to set that up.
You do.
Because they need to know who they are. And then the money could be used for any school expense, by the way, now with the rule change a couple of years ago, for expenses prior to higher education. And we would go to
we probably go to
the
Utah.
Utah 529,
which
Great
is
plan.
my529.com. And let's see what else. Set it up my name. And you do have some semblance of control over what happens at the end too. You can say it goes to this kid, doesn't go to this kid, that kind of thing too. If a kid doesn't go to college, you can give it to somebody else. 855-935-TALK's our number.
And Don are talking real money.
Want a free copy of my book, Financial Physics? Well, go download it right now at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
And we'll be back in a minute. Tom is out shaking the tree in the neighbor's yard to drop more leaves because we think
because he's around on the other side. That would be kind of comes back. Wait, what happened?
You shake the front. What you need to do now? Here's an idea. Since you rake leaves, this is really
just
great.
rake them and then throw them over there?
No.
Yeah.
Get a couple of those big 55-gallon bags.
Mm-hmm.
Fill them with your raked leaves, and then late at night, tonight, you go over and dump all the leaves in his front yard so that he.
The problem with that is, as you know, for me, late at night is about 8:30.
Yeah, but in Seattle, that's like the middle of the night. It's dark out.
That's true.
Hey,
let's not.
855. Really, you don't want to continue the feud? What's a good feud without sniping both ways? 855.
Let your children. That's what they did with the Hatfields and McCoys, right? The kids get into it now.
Yeah, well, you sacrifice some kids. You can always make more. 855-935-TALK is our number, or send your questions in at talkingrealmoney.com, just like Jack did in Ohio.
Wow. Okay.
Hello. I am trying to responsibly manage my 401k. The only passive funds that I care to invest in would be the iShares, S&P, MDIIX. I assume that, I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look that one up now. Small cap, 2000. Oh, okay. So those are the symbols. iShares, S&P. Okay, those are the symbols. And international. I am 37 and allocating 60-20-20 with 60 in the S&P funds. Standard & Poor's funds. Other actively, this is in his 401. Okay. Other funds available are, you ready? His what's the what are they called? The people who run the 401k, the 401k,
the third-party administrator,
administrator,
TPA.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
They offer some actively managed funds. A company called Noble Davis. We would not do the actively managed. Some BlackRock funds at 1%.
Well, sometimes they roll the administration cost into those, so then it's the whole thing is the 1%. So
iShares Mid Cap.
Yeah.
The J.P. Morgan U.S. Equity Fund.
No. No, that's going to be expensive.
Some other funds that are too expensive.
Yeah.
Vanguard Total Bond Fund, good fund.
Okay.
That's
fine.
He says good fund, not for me yet.
I thought you said he was 60, 20, 20 or something.
He is 60 in the S&P, 20 in the small cap, and 20 in international. He's all equity.
Okay.
He's 100% equity.
Okay. That's okay. 37. That's fine.
And then target date funds. He said the iShares funds are all Class A. I think that means I'm paying a commission.
No, we shouldn't be paying a commission in a ERISA plan. That'd be a surprise.
And JUEAX, the JP Morgan, is a front-loaded fund. So
he's not paying that.
Okay, probably
it would be a surprise.
They'd reach break points.
Yeah, it'd be unusual, but okay. That'd be really the old days.
Should I invest just enough to get the match and invest elsewhere, or is the 30 basis point expense of the funds not enough to deter me? My wife and I make approximately $210,000. No Roth for us, and our taxes should be lower in the future, we hope. Is there a benefit to opening a traditional IRA, or am I close to losing any tax savings there? In my taxable account, I'm using S&P World ex-US ETF, S&P, the SPDR, S&P 500, the SPDR Emerging Markets, the SPDR S&P 600 Small Cap Value, and the Schwab International ex-US Small Cap Value. What do you think? They're pretty low cost. I hope this makes sense.
Okay. Well, first, going back to the 401k, here's what I would do. Keep it simple. I'd put a third in each one of those funds you mentioned. A third in the S&P, a third in the small, and a third in the international.
Yeah,
it's easy.
And he's overweighted to the 500.
Yeah, then that's okay. But you're going to at least get some small exposure. The cost is relatively low. The only alternative there would be to do the target date funds. And as you may be aware, I know Don is, Vanguard recently lowered the cost of their target date funds.
Yep, by a lot.
8 basis points, some ridiculously small
Which, considering
number.
how cheap they were, it was.
Yeah, they were already inexpensive, but so that might be an alternative to look at. In terms of the saving up to the match or putting all of it in the 401k, that's a little dependent on your tax situation. It sounds like you may be in a relatively high bracket, 24, plus. Yeah, so maybe the better play would be to still put everything you can in that 401k up to the I was 19.5 when you're a youngin, under the age of 50. Do that, and then whatever's left you could put into the post-tax account. Don went through the funds in the post-tax account kind of quickly.
I'll do them again.
What you're really that's okay. I mean, what you're trying to accomplish is something we talk about many times. Balance between the U.S. and international, balance between large and small, and a significant amount of exposure to value stocks. What I didn't hear in those options you mentioned that he owns in the post-tax account was value. Stocks have been
he does have
important part.
He does have the S&P or the SPDR small cap value.
And how much?
20%. And 10% in the Schwab International ex-U.S. small cap value.
I mean, due to the fact that you have no value, basically, in your 401k, which is probably where you're saving most of your money.
You should overweight value.
I would probably, and there's some very fine products now. You could own the AVUV, the Avantis U.S. small cap value. It's very inexpensive. It has a significant tilt.
Through Schwab. It sounds like he's a Schwab.
Yep. Yeah, you're not going to pay any trading fees on that. The taxes are great on it, the way the ETFs are handled. So I probably would, in that post-tax money, significantly overweight to small and to value, and to do that both U.S. and as best you can internationally. I think Avantis has a U.S. or international small cap value exchange traded fund as well. Something like that. But you're doing, at 37, you're saving, great. You're putting the money aside. That's terrific. You're right. Stay away from those awful, actively managed, expensive funds. And I pray, I really do, that no one in your organization is paying a commission to buy a fund in a ERISA plan. It would shock me, but there again,
I've seen
before,
it happen. In smaller plans, I've seen it happen.
Yeah, it's ugly.
And the other thing this brings to mind, and it's so important for us to mention, is how important it is for you to consider. Tom alluded to it. Consider this as one portfolio. It's not your 401k or IRA or your taxable account. It's your portfolio. So the key is to balance between the various portions, the various accounts in your portfolio to make sure you have the proper overall balance for the portfolio. And as Tom mentioned, that means since you don't have value in the 401k, then you overweight value outside of that. So try to build the right portfolio. You're doing a great job, by the way, of picking. You've really created a pretty darn good portfolio outside of your 401k, but tweak it a little and improve that value exposure outside of the 401k.
And value stocks, people forget about them. I mean, especially this last 10, 12 years when growth stocks, the more solid companies, right, have done better than value. You really want to have that exposure to value. The premium, as they call it, gets paid, irregularly. But when it does, it is huge. Even I just again looked at the last year, U.S. small cap value up about 70%
now
since last October. It's phenomenal.
They don't actually pay out anything.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
I mean,
the increase in
grow.
Yeah, some people will say, "Wait a minute, they're paying something out irregularly." No, they don't pay anything out irregularly, and
they're not paying out 70%. Pretty sure of that. You have to go.
You have to cash
to Argentina. No, you can't even get it from Argentina anymore. Sorry, that doesn't work.
By the way,
I'll blame the blower today.
Yeah,
That's my problem.
I blame the blower for everything. I do. I'm blaming the Hatfields. I'm on your side, McCoy.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right in this whole doggone feud. We'll be back.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free, no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
And if you're looking for a little help from the McCoy family, well, they're all hanging out down at Vestory. Hey, these folks at the McCoy family or Vestory are happy to help you build a better portfolio and answer some of them confusing questions that come up from time to time. It is way too easy. It's just darned easy for you to set up an appointment and meet with one of them their fee-only fiduciary advisors for free for nothing with no obligation, none whatsoever. No high-pressure sales pitch, neither. That's them Hatfields to do that. Just go to Vestory.com. That is Vestory.com. Vestory.com. Or you can call using that newfangled telephone. That's 800-386-3004. Go to Vestory.com because that's that web thing. That's Vestory.com. Yes, indeedy. Vestory.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?